Thanks for being with us.
Yeah,
you brought some gameplay from your game.
Yes, we did.
And I already said there are mechs in the game. And if there are also dropships in the game, then it's a 10 out of 10. Are there dropships in the game?
There are vehicles that do deliver enemy units all the time, yes.
Okay, so game of the show. Tell us a bit about Disintegration. This game was just announced. What is it?
So Disintegration is kind of a blend of what I love a whole lot, which is first-person shooters. You know, I've made a lot of first-person shooters throughout the Halo game franchise, as well as even into Destiny. But what I love about this game, Disintegration, is we took that first-person shooter and we added a real-time tactical element to it, allowing you to control a squad of units on the ground, each of who have like unique abilities that you can use tactically in gameplay. So there's a really neat blend of first-person shooter with real-time tactics that's very fluid and action-focused.
What we are seeing right now is from the multiplayer?
This is true. We have a multiplayer component to the game. This is one of our multiplayer modes called Retrieval, where you have 2 cores on the map. You have there's a 2-round match where the offense is their job is to actually go in and get one of the 2 cores and deliver it to the enemy base, while the defense is doing everything they can to keep that core from landing on their side. And then midway through, we switch rounds and you switch roles from offense to defense.
And all the units we are seeing on the screen, which one are AI controlled and which ones are players? How does
this is a 5v5 match in multiplayer. In the game, always the player always plays a grav cycle pilot. This is an aerial vehicle platform with weapons, offensive and defensive weapons on it, and all ground units are always AI driven. However, the player controls their location and their abilities usage as well in both multiplayer and campaign. So you are in control of them, but they do smart actions to go take cover appropriately, fire at enemies appropriately. You highlight targets for them to go fire at and shoot at. You can priority target. You can tell them to pull back on your location. It's really up to you as the pilot in that sky to keep a watchful eye on them and use them basically as kind of like in a first-person shooter. Imagine them as your grenade that you're throwing. The grav cycle, are the right hand, they are your left hand, and together you are a crew. And you are an effective weapons platform if you use them properly.
You just said in the campaign, you just mentioned the campaign, so there will be a single player?
There is a single player standalone campaign as well, so I really firmly believe that the story of our game is one of the things that's going to create, you know, that lore, that thing that really drives and pulls people deeper into the universe of the game that we're building. I love stories, and so I started working on this story for this 6 years ago, so I'm super excited about how it's evolved over time and turned into what we're seeing today.
Tell us a bit about the story.
So the story is about, it's in the near future where humankind has really had a rough road ahead of them. There's been food shortages and riots and nations falling, and then there's this really mysterious pandemic that has taken over and has depleted humanity like beyond, almost to the brink of extinction. So one means of surviving this is to actually take the human from the body, the brain, and encase it in a armored shell and integrate that into a robotic armature. So all of the robots on the ground are humans. They're not just AI-driven things. They are actually people. So in campaign, what's neat about that is each one of them has a unique personality. They have affectations of who they used to be as humans. They wear clothing and have jewelry and that kind of thing, and they have personalities. And it's your job to keep them alive in campaign. So you play a faction of these integrated individuals who have broken away from the enemy, and they're now waging this battle on the fringes of a much larger global conflict.
You said before that it's a standalone campaign. Does this mean that the maps and the surroundings are not shared between the single-player campaign and the multiplayer?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
These are completely separate entities. The single-player world is not an online persistent world or anything like that. This is a single-player standalone campaign. The themes and such from single-player will be used for multiplayer, because I have to stress that V1 Interactive, my new studio that I formed, is only 30 people. It's a small team, but we're building a very high quality game in just a smaller form factor.
So it will be, but it will be one game. It will be sold as a normal.
That is correct. It's one game.
game.
It's like you'd expect from the old days, where you get a great campaign and a great multiplayer component as well.
That's crazy. Do you have any news on the release date?
Yes, we will be shipping about end of Q1, beginning of Q2 of 2020 next year.
On PC, on
PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 families.
And will there be a beta, a trial version, alpha, beta?
We are planning. I can't talk about dates yet, but a multiplayer beta is in the works.
Okay. I think in a few seconds we will see the trailer that you released. I think there are some more aspects in it about the universe and
sure,
everything.
yeah.
You said that you thought about the story for 6 years.
Yeah.
But how long did you actually work on what we are seeing right now?
So about 5 years ago, I started working with just a couple engineers. It was just 3 of us making a small prototype. We took our time to build something up because it took a long time to figure out how to blend the mechanics of the first-person shooter with that real-time tactics together in a way that didn't overwhelm the player.
Yeah.
So we had to invent brand new mechanics of how you manage those units on the ground in a way that you're not micromanaging them, and it's fluid and it flows with the action of that first-person shooter. So we built a prototype and shopped it around to some publishers, and landed a great deal with Private Division, who has been a fantastic publisher to work with, and we've grown to now the 30-person mark, and we're still working on this game. We're right in the middle of production still, but it's coming along great.
We trusted them.
And it looks really cool. I love how colorful, even though it's a bleak topic. You said it's a hard world.
So the single-player campaign, the story theme is dark overall, but we wanted the places that you go play in to be an inviting location to go to, and really enjoyable to be in. Just the beauty of the natural world. It's not a dark brown world dystopian kind of view at all. It's a view of the future where just humans cease to exist. And now you get to play in these environments that are really inviting to go enjoy.
There is a certain Halo Destiny vibe, so it's clear to see where you're coming from. Of course,
I tell people that it's just part of what I do. I mean, hey, I was the art director and creative director of Halo. I made the Master Chief and the Warthog and half the environments in the games. So I enjoy that part, and that's my art style. It's as a small studio, even though I'm the president and creative director of the studio, I still like building the game hands-on with everybody else.
Understandable. It looks really, really exciting. I'm very much looking forward to it. So, mechs, first-person shooting, dropships, sci-fi, everything, everything I love. And
there's a lot of familiar things you might things that you might think or feel familiar to you, but. Disintegration definitely is its own beast. It's its own thing. So I'm really excited for everyone to actually get their hands on and play it.
Marcus, thanks for being with us, and thanks for bringing all this new material.
My pleasure.